faithful Job and his children. There was a man in the land of Alcides, Alcides, whose name was Job. That man was true, blameless, righteous, and God fearing, and he abstained from every evil thing. Now he had 7 sons and 3 daughters, and his cattle consisted of 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 female donkeys in the pastures. Moreover, he possessed a very large number of house servants. His works were also great on the earth, and that man was the most noble of all men of the East. His sons would visit one another and prepare a banquet every day, and invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. When the days of their drinking were ended, Job sent and purified them, and he rose early in the morning and offered sacrifices for them according to their number, as well as one calf for the sins of their souls. For Job said, "Lest my sons consider evil things in their mind against God." Therefore Job did this continually. Satan is permitted to test Job. Then, as it happened one day that, behold, then as it so happened one day that, behold, the angels of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and the devil also came with them. The Lord said to the devil, "Where did you come from?" So the devil answered the Lord and said, "I came here after going about heaven and earth, after going about the earth and walking around under heaven." Then the Lord said to him, "Have you yet considered my servant Job, since there is none like him on the earth, a blameless, true, and God-fearing man, and one who abstains from every evil thing?" So the devil answered and said before the Lord, "Does Job worship the Lord for no reason? Have you not made a hedge around him, around his household, and around all that he has on his hands?" I think. Hold on a minute. The Lord said to the devil, "Where did you come from?" So the devil answered the Lord and said, "I came here after going about the earth and walking around under heaven." Then the Lord said to him, "Have you yet considered my servant Job, since there is none like him on the earth, a blameless, true, and God-fearing man, and one who abstains from every evil thing?" So the devil answered and said before the Lord, "Does Job worship the Lord for no reason? Have you not made a hedge around him, around his household, and around all that he has on every side? You have blessed the work of his hands, and his cattle have increased in the land. But stretch out your hand and touch all he has, and see if he will bless you to your face." Then the Lord said to the devil, "Behold, whatever he has, I give into your hand, but do not touch him." Thus the devil went out from the Lord. Job loses his children and property. Now there was a day when Job's sons and daughters were drinking wine in the house of their elder brother, and behold, a messenger came to Job and said, "The yokes of oxen were plowing, and the female donkeys were feeding beside them. Then raiders came and took them captive and killed the servants with the sword, and I alone have escaped to tell you." While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said to Job, "Fire fell from heaven and burned up the sheep." Then the raiders came and took them captive and killed their servants with the sword, and I alone have escaped to tell you. While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said to Job, "Fire fell from heaven and burned up the sheep, and likewise consumed the shepherds, and I alone have escaped to tell you." While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, "Horsemen formed three bands against us, surrounded the camels, took them captive, and killed the servants with the sword. I alone have escaped to tell you. while he was still while he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, "Your sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine with their elder brother." And suddenly a great wind came from the desert and struck the four corners of the house, and it fell on your children, and they died. And I alone have escaped to tell you. Then Job arose, tore his robe, and shaved off the hair off his head, and he fell up to the ground and worshipped, saying, "Naked I came from my mother's room, and naked shall I return. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. As it seemed good to the Lord, so also it came to pass. Blessed be the name of the Lord." In all these things that happened, Job did not sin against the Lord or charge God with folly. Job loses his health. Then again, as it so happened, another day the angels of God came to present themselves before the Lord. And the devil also came among them to present himself before the Lord. The Lord said to the devil, "Where did you come from?" Then the devil said before the Lord, "I came here from walking around under heaven and going about all the earth." Then the Lord said to the devil, "Have you considered my servant Job? Since there is none like him on the earth, an innocent, true, blameless, and God-fearing man, and one who abstains from every evil thing. Moreover, he still holds fast to integrity, through though you told me to destroy his possessions without cause." Then the devil answered the Lord and said, "Skin for skin. Whatever a man has, will whatever a man has, he will pay in full for his life. Yet truly stretch out your hand and touch his bones and his flesh, and see if he will bless you to your face." So the Lord said to the devil, "Behold, I give him over to you. I only spare his life." Thus the devil went out from the Lord and struck Job with malignant sores from head to foot. So he took a potsherd to scrape away the discharge and sat on the dunghill outside the city. When a period of time passed, his wife said to him, "How long will you your hold out? Behold, I wait a little longer, looking for the hope of my salvation. Listen, your memory is wiped out from the earth. Your sons and daughters, the pangs and pains of my womb, which I suffered in vain and with hardships. You yourself are sitting down, spending the nights in open air among the rottenness of worms. And I go out about as a wanderer and a handmaid from place to place, and from house to house, waiting for the setting of the sun, so as to rest my labors and pains that now beset me. But say a word against the Lord and die." Then Job looked at her and said, "You have spoken as one of the foolish women who spoke. If we accepted good things from the Lord's hand, shall we endure evil things?" And all these things that happened to him, Job did not sin with his lips against God. Notes from the previous page. 1:1, Job was originally called Jobab. 42:19, thanks to the LXX text, he is no longer the mystery man from the land of Uz. He is the land from Asidus, which was located on the borders of Edom and Arabia. 42:19. He is also a descendant of Abraham through Esau, and his first wife was an Arab. 42:20. This makes him a Gentile. And Esau, the unbeliever, was his forefather. St. John Chrysostom, quoting Ecclesiastes 7:21, notes that the text qualifies Job as blameless, that is, just, but that it did not say without sin. Only Christ was without sin. Hebrews 4:15. 1:16. Heaven is inaccessible to the devil, yet he came with them because he is an angel with a nature similar to the angels of God. However, writes Saint Gregory, he was in the Lord's sight, but the Lord was not in his sight. When a blind man stands at the sun, he is bathed with the sun's rays, but he still does not see the light by which he is lit. And Saint John Chrysostom teaches that he came with him means nothing else but that the devil is dependent upon God. 1:7. The devil accuses the righteous before God day and night. Revelations 12:10. With God's permission, he pummels our minds with evil thoughts and weakens our bodies with pain and illness, ever seeking to influence us towards evil. But through hardship, the righteous are clothed in the whole armor of God. Ephesians 6:13. We are called to glory in tribulations. Romans 5:3. Knowing that we are to walk in obedience to Christ's commands. Matthew 5:10. 1:10 through 12. St. John Chrysostom remarks that Satan's will is his own, but he derives his power from God, who does not allow him to act except with justice. He cannot bring harm to the faithful, and and even profits those who wage war against him. For tribulation makes the strong man stronger. Jesus conversed with evil spirits and even granted their request to be sent into a great herd of swine. Luke 8:32-33. 113. St. Gregory compares the elder brother to the Jews and the rest of Job's sons and daughters to the Gentiles. The collapse of the house points to the final judgment, and when we will either be crushed by Christ the rock or take refuge in him. See Luke 17:26 through 30. 1 through verse 12. This passage is read on Holy Monday, the Monday before Pascha, Easter. 1:13-22. This passage is read on Holy Tuesday, the Tuesday before Pascha, Easter. And then 1:20. Job did these acts according to Saint Hesychius. Less is a sign of the morning than to get rid of what possessions were left with him, thus leaving the enemy no means by which he could further test him. He wanted to strip down nude to nude with his enemy, after he fell to the ground to humble himself before God. Job did not charge God, or 122. Job did not charge God with the injustice for evils that had befallen him. See Psalm 22:2. It is not the events, but the perversity of thoughts that makes us suspect God of meanness. St. John Chrysostom says. 2:2. St. Gregory comments that since the devil has already been defeated, the Lord is chiding him for the impotence of his pride. St. Hesychius teaches us that devil cannot even speak without first receiving permission from God. 2:4. The devil was unable to understand how Job could seek salvation over saving his own skin, that is, his life. 2:7. St. Gregory remarks that from the beginning Satan has been working to destroy the body of Christ, inflicting wounds on God's people throughout the history of the Jews, and by continuing in his fury until he came to the very head of the church. 2:8. Job, in his misery, is an image of Christ on the cross. He came in the likeness of the sinful flesh. On the account of sin, he condemned sin in the flesh. Romans 8:3. With a shard, therefore, the pus is scraped. When sin is defeated by the flesh, St. Gregory also notes that the repentant sinner, like Job, looks unflinchingly upon the stains of sin by which he is covered. 2:9. St. Hesychius teaches us that Satan recruited Job's wife as he had done with Eve. St. John Chrysostom says, "What are you saying? What are you saying, woman? When God needs to be pro, 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 propitiated, propitiated? Yeah, you are rather preparing to provoke him. For if it is God who caused these bad things. He needs to be invoked, not blasphemed. And Jesus said, he endures to the end will be saved. Matthew 10:22. 2:1 through 10. This passage is read on Holy Wednesday, the Wednesday before Pascha, Easter.